Hello everybody, it's Dio from Firm But Fair Gaming bringing you another video. Enjoying all the videos and content we produce, don't forget to click on that subscribe button, click on that like button, and don't be afraid to share. Don't forget to click on the notification button, customize it however you want, but that way you're notified whenever we publish another video. Hello everyone, welcome to another Diablo 3 video for Season 27 here. Today we are going to be taking a look at the Valor Crusaders, so the Aegis of Valor. So the two-piece bonus for this build is attacking with Fists of Heavens empowers you, allowing Heaven's Fury to deal up to 125% more damage. That point used to be the main focus of the build, but that doesn't matter anymore. We are now focused on just Fists of the Heavens. So then the four pieces, hitting with Fists of the Heavens returns 5 Wrath and reduces their damage taken by 1% for 10 seconds. That's stacked up to 50 times for 50% mitigation. And then lastly, 6 pieces increases the damage of Fists of the Heavens and Heaven's Fury by 20,000%. But again, we're only focusing on Fists of the Heavens. And the reason for that is one of the sanctified affixes is every 2 seconds call down Fist of the Heavens on a random nearby enemy. After casting Steed Charge, this effect occurs more rapidly for 5 seconds. So that's why the main build is switching from Heaven's Fury to Fists of the Heavens. So before we go into the various items and the skills and all that, let's take a look at what it looks like in action. So just going to jump into a 105 here. So this build is actually pretty fun, not gonna lie. It's kind of like a Thor build, in that being the God of Thunder. So basically all we're trying to do is every time our steed is off cooldown, we're going to use it, charge into a pack, and throw down a buttload of Fists of the Heavens. So as you can see here, I know this is just a 105. My gear is all normal. I don't have anything augmented, but we're doing lots of work here. So just destroying pretty much everything. And so in T16 bounty farms or even key farm, this build is like it's a screen wipeout. Like anything that's rendered basically gets destroyed. Just actually, makes for pretty quick work getting through keys, bounties, all that sort of thing. And we could even make it quicker if we wanted to by throwing in like an Ingium potentially, so then it's always off CD after we kill elite packs. So there's lots of potential for farm. But even here doing like speeds 105, like it's doing very good work. And again, nothing is augmented. My gems, I believe, are like around level 100, so nothing too significant there either. And like we're pretty tanky so far. Obviously in the higher keys we will need to play a little bit more careful because we're just destroying everything there. We can kind of just do what we want. But this is basically the build. This is all we're going to do. Every time the horse is up, steed is up, we're going to get on it, jump off when we're around what we want to kill, throw down a ton of Fists of the Heavens, and they're just going to fall on top of everything and eventually take them out. If this was a higher GR where we weren't one-shotting everything, there would be just more dancing around to try to live. We do have more points of the build here where we are outside of Akrats, because previously we would have been wearing Captain Crimson for the additional cooldown to make Akrats up more often. But in this build, just the way it works, we are using the Guardians build instead, because we get that extra strength and vitality there, but mainly for the strength for damage. But we're going to have to do a little bit more dancing than we would otherwise. As you can see there, not much to it. Pretty simple. We're just going to get on a horse, get off, throw down a ton of fists, and everything is going to get lit up and hopefully die. Alright, now let's take a look at the items we are using in this build. So we are wearing 5-piece Valor, so we are using Ring of Royal Grandeur, and also we are using the Guardian set. So for the 5 pieces we are using for the Valor, we're using the helm, shoulders, gloves, pants, and boots. And then the off-piecer that we're not using is the chest, where we're going to use the Aquila Cuirass. So the Aquila Cuirass is well above 90% resources. That's ideally what you want is the lowest number. All damage taken is reduced by 50%. We should pretty much always be at 100% wrath, because as the Fists of Heavens are coming down, they are giving us wrath. It costs wrath, but also generates wrath, so that kind of evens out. And we are also using the Guardian's Jeopardy set. So the two pieces, your melee damage reduction is increased by 1% per 1,000 base fatality. And then your missile damage reduction, so range attacks, is your damage mitigation is increased by 1% per 1,000 base strength, dex, or intelligence from your items depending on your class. So for Crusader, it's based on our strength. And then the three pieces, you gain an additional 100% of your base strength, dex, int, and vitality attributes from equipped item, which is why with no augments, I have almost 24,000 strength and almost 12,000 vit. So this is going to give me 23% range damage mitigation and almost 12% melee melee mitigation. For our jewelry, we are using the Squirt's necklace. So of course, this is while not taking damage. Damage delta is increased by up to 100%, and damage taken is increased by up to 50%. So that's this buff down here. While we're not taking damage, we get a stack. It's 10% per stack, and then 5% damage taken. For our rings, we're using the Bastions of Will. So this is the focused and restraint set. So when you hit with a resource generating attack or primary skill, you deal 50% increased damage for 5 seconds. And when you hit with a resource spending attack, you deal 50% increased damage for 5 seconds. And lastly, our weapon, we're using the two-handed flail and shield combo set. So Norval's Fervor. So the two pieces increase the duration of steed charge by 2 seconds. In addition, killing an enemy reduces the cooldown of steed charge by 1 second. And then the two pieces gain 200% increase damage while using steed charge for 5 seconds after it ends. So this is what giving us the 200% bonus. Plus, as well as you can see on here, the sanctified bonus that we're using is every 2 seconds call down the Fist of the Heavens on a random nearby enemy, and after steed charge, this effect occurs more rapidly for 5 seconds. So we're getting the 200% increased damage bonus after using it, and then we're getting the increase or the more rapid Fist of the Heavens falling from the sky damage there. For our legendary gems, we are using Stone of Vengeance. So this is damage you deal is increased by X% for every 10 yards between you and the enemy, up to a max of 50 yards, where your damage is then times by 5. So let's just say at 10 yards, we're dealing 10%, and then at 50 yards, we're dealing 50%. So the reason we're using Zeiss is because Fist of the Heavens is going to be falling all over the place. We're going to get that range bonus damage on our Fist of the Heavens. Also, at rank 25, we have a 20% chance to stun the enemy for 1 second. We're also using Bane of the Stricken. So each attack we make against an enemy, it stacks. So like the first attack is 1%, then 2, 3, etc., 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 stacking that way. Then at rank 25, we gain 25% increased damage against bosses and Rift Guardians. And then lastly, our third one is, of course, Bane of the Trap, which is increased damage against enemies under the effects of control and parrying effects by X%. And then at rank 25, we gain an aura that reduces the movement speed of enemies within 15 yards by 30%, thus triggering the effect that's going to give us the bonus damage. Moving down to our cube, in our weapon slot, we're using Dark Light. So this is a one-handed flail. So Fist of the Heavens now casts twice and deals 1,000% more damage. Our armor is going to be a belt, the Cassette's Cord of Righteous. Fist of the Heavens costs 40% less wrath, and it deals 170% more damage. And then lastly, as mentioned, we are using the Ring of Royal Grandeur, which reduces the number of items needed for set bonuses by 1, which is how we're able to get the 6-piece for the Valor set and the 3-piece for the Guardian's Jeopardy. Let's take a look at the skills. So we're using Akarat's Champion with Profit. So this is going to increase our damage and our wrath regeneration as well as our armor. And also, the first time we take fatal damage while Akarat's Champion is active, we will be returned to full health instead. And then we are using Laws of Justice with Decaying Strength. So basically, this is just a damage mitigation against enemies that are attacking us. So this is going to give us some survivability. Then here we go. Our main ability, Fist of the Heavens with Fissures. So call forth a pillar of lightning from the heavens that explodes and splits into multiple bolts, and then creates a fissure of lightning energy, dealing damage to nearby enemies. And also it returns some of our wrath as well. And then for our utility, we're using Steed Charge. So in farming mode, we might want to have Endurance, which would increase the duration that Steed Charge lasts so we can go extra far. But here we're using Rejuvenation while pushing because it is going to return some of our life to us. So again, in our rotation, we're just going to get on our steed, get off, and throw down a bunch of Fists of the Heavens. So that's what we need that for. Another defensive that we're using is Iron Skin. So it turns our skin iron, protecting us from most damage for a short duration. And also we're using Flash because that'll let us move through enemies unhindered. And then lastly, this is kind of like a pick your poison, although like I guess I should say pick your choice instead. So we can use this, which is a Justice with Burst. So it generates 5 Wrath. And basically we're going to hurl a hammer at somebody and it has a chance to stun them. You could also use here, if you would like, we could use Shield Glare with Divine, here we go. Divine Verdict, blinded enemies take more damage, so that's also an option if you want as well. And then for our passives, we're using Howling Strength, so this lets us use a two-hander and a shield at the same time, and our damage delta is increased by 20%. Binary, we gain 1.5 strength for every gem socket in our gear, which is going to be huge. Statistically, or I guess typically, we would have been using diamonds in here for survivability, but because of the fact that we're getting double bonus from the Garden's Jeopardy, we're going to use rubies in there for the strength, which is going to give us tons and tons of strength. It's kind of like a double whammy in our favor. Also, you can use Indestructible, so this is going to give us a second life for when Akarat's is down. If you're feeling confident in your survivability, you could always pick another one. I've seen, where is Lord and Commander? Right here. So this reduces the cooldown on Steed Charge. I've also seen Holy Cause as well, increases the damage you deal. So those are options if you're feeling like you don't have a problem living. And then we're also using Long Arm of the Law just to increase the duration by 5 seconds on our law. So this brings us to the end of the video. If you have any questions or comments, please let me know below. I'll do my best to answer them. I will throw out that this isn't the top tier pushing for Crusader so far in Season 27, but it is a very speedy farm build, especially if you're doing bounties or farming keys. The whole map clearing, well, I guess screen clearing capabilities is pretty crazy. And I'm looking forward to using it for some speeds and for some bounties because it's just so quick and a lot of fun. So again, we're just for the rotation. Basically, we're going to use our defensives at will, but for damage, it's just get on your horse, get off, and throw down a bunch of Fists of the Heavens, and watch the screen just become a lightning storm. You will need to watch your feet, especially if there's arcane and stuff on the ground. It is kind of all in your face, like with the amount of lightning that gets out there. So just be mindful of that. Anyways, that's enough from me. If you like this video, we appreciate like, shares, and subscribe. So please click those buttons. And also, we are streaming on Twitch on Thursdays and Saturdays. So be sure to come hang out with us. It'll be in the description. Come check us out. Let's run some keys and have some fun. So that's all for me. Until next time, I hope you're enjoying Season 27. And we'll see you in the next video. And I hope to see you on Twitch.